Good evening, everyone. I'm Riley King, and welcome to the Riley King Newscast right here on the Riley King Network. Let's begin. First up, we begin with the storm watch this evening. We have a big major snowstorm for the first of 2019 making its way into New Hampshire. So, with more on that, let's go to meteorologist Haley Lapointe with your weather forecast.
Good afternoon. I'm meteorologist Haley Lapointe. Here's an update on your forecast. Well, for the rest of today, some scattered light snow showers, otherwise mostly cloudy. We'll have increasing clouds on Saturday with a temperature near 20, and then snow arrives between 5 and 9 p.m. It's our next big storm system that's coming in, and it continues through Sunday with heavy snow at times, particularly in the morning and early afternoon. And the wind will pick up too, kind of blowing around all of the snow. The snow will be pretty light and fluffy in nature, so it'll easily get lofted by the strong winds. Then very cold air comes in behind this system. On Monday, the high temperature only 8 degrees, and with the wind chills, it will feel sub-zero everywhere. So some passing snow showers, certainly not out of the realm of possibility through the afternoon here, but for the most part, it is just mostly cloudy and hanging out. We're dry before the next storm system, the big one, starts to move closer and closer to us. You see it there in the upper Midwest there. That's it in its infancy. It's actually going to intensify even more as it moves closer to us and gets in here by Sunday night. So here's what happens with Futurecast. So really at any time today, but particularly from the lakes region and northward, there could be some light snow shower action, and that will wrap up during the evening hours tonight. We'll start out maybe with a little bit of sunshine on Saturday morning. Then the clouds take over and they thicken up through the day, and snow arrives anywhere, say, after 5 o'clock in the evening, and it will continue hard as we go through the overnight. Where you see those darker shades of the purple colors through the early morning hours, that's where you get some of these bands of snow where upwards of maybe 1, 2, even 3 inches of snow could fall in just an hour. So very strong bands of snow through the pre-dawn hours. Then you see this little pink color here? That's indicating sleet. And I think there will likely be a little bit of sleet that mixes in, especially at the coast and right along the Mass border there as we get through the daylight hours on Sunday. Things do start to wind down as we go through Sunday afternoon, and I think the snow completely shuts off by about 8, 9 o'clock at night, and possibly some clearing in time for the eclipse. Now, as far as snowfall accumulations go, 12 to 20 inches possible in this pink area. And I think there will be some spots that exceed 20 inches. Some of those higher elevations could certainly do that, particularly because this is more of that fluffy snow. It gets a lot of air in it, so it actually accumulates even more. It gets higher. But where there is a little bit of sleet, like down just to the south of Portsmouth along the seacoast, that's where we'll get about 8 to 14 inches because of the sleet. And then to the north, a little bit of shadowing due to the White Mountains, so about 8 to 14 inches there. Speaking of the lunar eclipse, so it's the super blood wolf moon eclipse on Sunday night. And the eclipse begins at 10:33 p.m. So this is where we might have a little trouble seeing it because that storm system is still hanging around. So there may be some clouds that obstruct the view for some of it. Then by the time it is the total eclipse, which starts at about 11:41, there may be some breaks in the clouds. Fingers crossed that there will be, so that we'll be able to see this. It all ends by about 2 a.m. on Monday morning, and still some lingering clouds at that time. And if you are going to step outside to check that out, keep in mind it's going to be bitter cold because not only are the temperatures going to be down low, but with the winds, they will be very gusty as this system departs. Monday will actually have blowing snow and the bitter cold. Temperatures recover quickly, though, in the 20s on Tuesday, talking mid-30s on Wednesday.
Okay, and there you go on that weather forecast from meteorologist Haley Lapointe. And there is a big list of closings, slowly getting even bigger and bigger as this storm gets closer to us. Currently, right now, there are 49 closings and delays for your Sunday Mass services on Sunday morning. Lots of churches are already closing for Sunday. If you want to see that list, just go to WMUR.com and click on closings. And now let's take a look at your traffic now and see how your roadways are shaping up for your evening commute ride home from work for this Friday evening. And here's a look at your traffic right now. We're seeing a lot of green roadways, and we have a lot of yellow and red areas as well. Otherwise, your traffic is moving pretty good, and no major accidents or incidents to report yet. So that is good news there. So just take it easy on those red areas, and you'll get home eventually this evening. And now let's go to your news. First up, important safety reminders ahead of major snowstorm. For the first time this winter, most granite staters will see more than a foot of snow in a single storm. Give that it's been several months since the last significant winter storm, there are important things to remember. If the power goes out, you are encouraged to call your electricity provider. Eversource report an outage at 800 662 7764. Liberty Utilities report an outage at 855 349 9455. New Hampshire Electric Co-op report an outage at 800 343 6432. And Utility report an outage at 866 900 4115. If you see downed power lines, call 911. Assume they are still alive wires and do not touch them or drive over them. If a line falls on your car, stay in your car until emergency crews arrive. People are also urged to stay at least 35 feet away from down lines and anything they fall on. State fire officials urge those who are at home without power to be conscious when using generators or alert alternate heat sources. Generator safety. Officials said residents should use only a generator that has been properly connected to a house wiring by a professional. Generators should be run outside and at least 10 feet away from your building, with the exhaust facing away from your house. Improperly installed or running generators can cause carbon monoxide poisoning. Anyone who suspects carbon monoxide in a home or building is urged to leave immediately and call 911 before calling the State Poison Center at 1-800 222 1222. Snow safety. New Hampshire Department of Transportation officials routinely ask that residents avoid crowding plows and slow down to allow the snow removal on state roadways. Officials also remind that residents clear snow from around headlights, vents, and fire hydrants. Meanwhile, Jessica law requires all drivers to clear snow and ice off their vehicle before hitting the roads. The best bet? Just stay off the road until this whole storm is past. plow crews, police ready for heavy snowfall over weekend. Let's take a listen to the video from WMUR News 9.
At New Hampshire DOT garages, preparations are continuing for the storm that's expected to dump a foot or more of snow around the state. With the storm moving in Saturday night, the DOT says the timing couldn't be better.
We expect under those conditions some pretty low traffic volumes, which should help our crews get out there and do the job.
But the snow could fall at more than an inch an hour, and the DOT says people should expect to see snow-covered roads. A fleet of more than 650 trucks are ready, with interstates and turnpikes the priority. And while some people complain about getting stuck behind plows and tandem plowing, the DOT says it's the best way to clear the roads.
It's more dangerous to leave snow roads in the middle of the road for traffic, and it's much more efficient to do it that way. And while it's frustrating at times to be behind a fleet of snow plows, that's the best and most safest place to be.
We have plenty of ice melt in-store, out-of-store, bags, jugs, pails, plus lots of shovels. We're ready for the storm when it gets here.
At Rocky's Ace Hardware in Concord, they just got in 12 pallets of ice melt as part of their preparations. The manager says people seem to be taking the storm seriously.
People are preparing. They don't want to come out on Sunday.
The storm's expected to be followed by the coldest temperatures of the year, something that you should take into account as you buy supplies such as ice melt.
Calcium chloride is your best working. That'll work below 30 below zero.
As you take a live look at some of the supplies the DOT has here in Hooksett, they say the good news about the storm is that it should be a lighter, fluffier snow than that wintry mix they've had to deal with in the past few storms, and that should make it easier to plow. Reporting live in Hooksett, Ray Brewer, WMUR News 9.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. So that is good news there. Light and fluffy. We like that. Part of Hooksett Road closed after crash down wires. Let's take a listen to the video from WMUR News 9. Sorry about that. It's raw video. Sorry about that. Let's look at the raw video from that crash, everyone. And here is some raw video. As you can see, the power line is down and the power pole is on the road, and the truck crashed into the power lines and made the power lines go down, as you can see in this video here. West River Road in Hooksett was closed Friday morning after a crash. The crash happened on West River Road before 8:45 a.m. The road was closed between the Tri-Town Ice Arena and Hackett Hill Road. A mail truck crashed into a utility pole, downing wires, officials said. Dozens of customers in the area lost power. Police, firefighters, and Eversource crews were at the scene. Legislators consider repealing law that allows Lord's Prayer in classrooms. Let's take a listen to the video from WMUR News 9, Adam Sexton.
The separation of church and state. It's a pillar of civics instruction and taught across the country. But New Hampshire has an obscure law, RSA 194-15A, that says school districts can authorize the recitation of the traditional Lord's Prayer in elementary schools. Representative Amanda Bolden says it was passed by the General Court in the 1970s, and she wants to see it repealed.
At the time, it was deemed unconstitutional, but nothing was done, and it continues to live in our RSAs today, sort of like a hidden virus.
In testimony Thursday, reps laid out the merits of repeal.
As an educator of elementary-age children, I know how impressionable they can be, and how they look to their teacher for guidance. Allowing teachers to lead their class in this prayer can be confusing and intimidating to those children of different faiths.
Others believe removing this authorization, which is not known to be used anywhere in the state, infringes on religious freedom.
Yeah, under the current laws today, it would be considered unconstitutional. That doesn't make it right, and it doesn't make it relative to what the framers actually believed in.
Religious groups are questioning the motivation behind the bill.
Our concern with HB 289 is simply that there's not animus towards religion in general, and specifically towards Christians.
Bill sponsors say this is not an attack on prayer or religion. Committee members tell us they're going to keep an open mind as they deliberate.
I prayed every time I had a tough exam, so it's not that there's not prayers going on in schools. I think this one is, do you select a specific one, i.e. in this case the Lord's Prayer, as the prayer that can be provided for.
In Concord, Adam Sexton, WMUR News 9.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. And now let's take a look at your U.S. stock market and see how your U.S. stock market closed for this Friday evening. And here's a look at your U.S. stock market. Your Dow Jones Industrial Average closed in the green and went up. Your Nasdaq closed in the green and went up. S&P 500 closed in the green and went up. Gold closed in the red and went down. Oil closed in the green and went up. US 10-year closed in the green and went up. Euro/USD closed in the green and went up. And VIX closed in the red and went down. Dow jumps more than 300 points, post first 4-week winning streak since August. Stocks rose on Friday as investors cheered potential progress in trade negotiations between China and the U.S. Dems pledge to get to the bottom of story that alleges Trump directed Cohen to lie. Democrats in Congress pledge to investigate allegations in a media report published Thursday night suggests President Donald Trump instructed Michael Cohen, his former personal attorney and fixer, to lie to Congress about a proposed project to build a Trump-branded property in Moscow. And that does it for the Riley King Newscast right here on the Riley King Network. I hope you all have a great rest of your evening, and I'll see you back here tomorrow for another newscast. And I'll have a news report coming up in a little bit. And don't forget to watch Good Evening New Hampshire at 6:30 p.m. this evening. Have a great night, everyone. Goodbye.